Right now, criminal syndicates in over a dozen countries are making billions of dollars illegally trafficking the most abundant material on Earth, sand. And their black market monopoly is quietly dictating the price of every new home, skyscraper, and microchip on the planet. If you look at nations like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, you'll see a bizarre economic reality. Despite being covered in endless desert, they spend billions of dollars importing sand from across the ocean. The reason comes down to basic geology. Over thousands of years, desert sand grains are tumbled by the wind until they become completely round and smooth, almost like microscopic marbles. This microscopic comparison shows the problem clearly. Perfectly round desert grains slide right past one another, but riverbed sand is shaped by water erosion, leaving jagged, irregular edges that lock tightly together into a rigid grid, the exact physical property needed to bind heavy concrete. Because developers can only use this specific aquatic sediment for infrastructure, the relentless global building boom is rapidly depleting a finite natural resource. We've scaled up modern cities under the illusion that sand is an infinite commodity. By treating a highly specific geological byproduct as an unlimited resource, we have engineered an artificial scarcity out of seemingly thin air. The math behind this shortage is staggering. Global industries now consume approximately 50 billion tons of usable sand every single year. What was once a low-level, local trade of hauling dirt from riverbanks has exploded into a highly lucrative $70 billion global industry. Natural sediment replenishment rates cannot come close to keeping pace with this level of exponential consumption, and regulatory agencies are completely overwhelmed by the volume leaving their borders. Whenever a legally restricted, highly valuable material suddenly outpaces supply, it creates a massive financial vacuum, and that vacuum is perfectly shaped for organized crime. From Morocco to India, sophisticated syndicates, known as sand mafias, have violently taken control of riverbed mining. Because wet sand is incredibly heavy to transport, builders depend on localized supply chains. This geographic trap allows cartels to bribe officials, secure territories, and run absolute monopolies. By choking off the legal supply and manipulating prices, these syndicates are driving up construction overheads by as much as 25% in developing economies. The physical cost of this illicit dredging is devastating. Unregulated extraction tears through active riverbeds, triggering rapid ecosystem collapse, depleting groundwater tables, and physically destabilizing coastal infrastructure. These cartels operate far beyond standard environmental violations. They function as a shadow government, levying a violent, unavoidable tax on global urban expansion. The crisis moves from raw bulk to extreme material precision as we move up the value chain into the tech sector, which centers on a specialized material called high-purity quartz, or HPQ. The $220 billion semiconductor industry requires silica sand refined to extreme levels of purity. It is the essential substrate needed to forge the silicon wafers inside every computing device, smartphone, and server rack on Earth. Now, the explosive growth of the solar energy market is competing for that exact same resource. Photovoltaic panels require massive new volumes of specialized, highly transparent silica glass to maximize light conversion. Because high-purity silica deposits are geographically rare, the supply chain carries a terrifying concentration risk. A single natural disaster hitting a primary deposit, like Hurricane Helene devastating the spruce pine mines in North Carolina, can instantly paralyze global manufacturing. From AI server racks to the global solar transition, the world's computing power and energy future are tethered to the availability of a single, rapidly depleting rock. Down at the consumer level, the skyrocketing costs of these raw materials feed directly into the global housing affordability crisis. Unpredictable material pricing corners builders. It forces developers into massive cost overruns, pushes back completion timelines, and leads directly to abandoned urban housing projects. Material shortages now function as a primary driver of financial risk, threatening the underlying stability of the global real estate sector. To bypass this bottleneck, the market is aggressively funding an industrial workaround called manufactured sand. By mechanically crushing quarry rock, engineers can produce perfectly angular particles that match the structural properties of natural river sediment. This animated chart shows the massive financial trajectory of that pivot. The artificial sand market is already valued at $5.8 billion today, and it is projected to scale rapidly past $10.9 billion by 2032, as traditional natural sources dry up. Bypassing the black market and stabilizing global construction costs now relies entirely on transitioning away from raw sediment extraction and embracing industrialized geological engineering. The world's most basic building block is running out, and the shadow economy controlling it is cashing in. But what do you think? Will manufactured sand save the global real estate market, or are we heading toward a massive construction bottleneck? Leave a comment below and let us know. If you want to keep uncovering the financial truths the mainstream media misses, hit the like button and subscribe to the Viral Scope. We'll see you next time.